They got all their agents of the Matrix to say he's a bad person, under identity politics, evil, we're going to slander him, we're going to demonize his character, call him a bad person, attack his masculinity because the left likes to invert truth. And then the most recent thing that they did before this most recent PSY-OP that's been taking place in the last 10 hours, you know what they did? They made any video on YouTube. Oh my, it's so dastardly. It's so dastardly. What they did is they made any video on YouTube about Andrew Tate have disabled comments. You know why? Because in a recent interview that he did with Patrick Bet-David, after the BBC interview that went so poorly and the Patrick Bet-David one that was amazing, he reminded everyone, everyone's on my side, and you can tell everyone's on my side by going to the comment section because 95% of the comments are all positive in my favor. So guess what the evil agents did? They turned off. I will show you a screenshot that I took. I got a notification on YouTube, on my YouTube creator app, saying that your comments have been turned off. I saw it on Twitter. I'm like, no way, this is true, right? I went to the creator app to check, and oh my gosh, it was, my comments were turned off. I never turn off my comments, obviously, but they were turned off because they don't want people to see, they don't want people to see all these, common, decent, good, hardworking people supporting Andrew Tate. And so here, I'm gonna pop that up on the screen so that you can tell, so that you can see what these people are doing. They want to silence your support. They look so down on you. They think it's unacceptable for you to say, I like Andrew Tate because he's made my life better, because he's objectively impressive, because they hate objectivity, they hate being seen as frauds, they hate being defied, because if you dare to defy them, it means that you see that they're lying at some point. And the fact that you see that they're lying infuriates them. It enrages the leftists to know that you see them as frauds, because their entire ideology is built on being the fake good guys. And if you see them as frauds, then you don't even have to debate their ideas, because they're already frauds. You see them as who they are, and their ideology disintegrates. So this is why they get infuriated, not just angry. They get deeply enraged when you dare to step against their ideology. And so this is why they turned off the comment section. But now that the Matrix is harnessing attack vectors from the right, I'm going to be here and say and expose these people for their insanity, for their disgusting degeneracy and attacks on truth. And we're going to do that by breaking down this interview, because this interview is fucking crazy. The Matrix knows that it doesn't have complete control. It doesn't control Twitter because Elon Musk is a fucking G. It doesn't control free speech because free speech knows not the spirit of evil. It knows not the spirit of Cain. And so they don't have complete control. And what happened? Tucker Carlson is now more popular than ever, getting tens of millions of views on Twitter, and they can't do anything about it. And not only that, when Tucker Carlson interviewed Andrew Tate, he put it up on Twitter, the free speech platform, and Elon Musk retweeted it. So this interview right here has some serious rocket fuel behind it, no pun intended, and it's incredible. I'm so glad that Elon had the courage. It means that Elon's aware of this disgusting attack that's been going on. Guys, I came in for my walk outside, seeing all this stuff, and I thought, how is this possible? How am I living in a world that's corrupt? I have to immediately record a video. This isn't what I wanted to do, but it is what I want to do now, because obviously the forces of darkness must be, what's the word when the enemies are trying to get over the walls of the castle and you have to repel? The forces of darkness must be repelled. And Andrew Tate, the fucking top G, the top striker, the trigger don, things have to be set straight. Dude, how else can I say it? Things have to be set straight. The trigger don must be defended, because he is obviously a force for good. So here we go. Let's get into it.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. Imagine being a sixth grade boy in the United States right now. What are you hearing at school? What are
and by the way, I don't even know if I'm going to show you the degenerate attacks on Twitter, because you can see them yourself. But you can take my word that they're there. And you only have to take my word if you're not on Twitter. If you are on Twitter, you can see them yourself. I'm not even going to show these degenerate liars. I'm just going to clear his name. Visibly, universally, and objectively impressive, therefore must be a bad person. We obviously must demonize him for this because he's showing us up, and the overminds, the people that are at the very top of society, think to themselves, this guy has multiple supermodels fawning after him. We have to take him down because he annoys me, because my wife is fat and ugly, as am I, and I can't even get her to fuck me anymore. So he must be a real evil guy. Also, keep in mind, these people that are controlling society definitely got bullied when they were kids by people like Andrew Tate, by the alphas, by the people who are actually impressive. And the same thing with all the tech guys, by the way, Mark Zuckerberg, those people, they all got bullied as kids, and this is why they're like, disintegrating and losing their fucking minds.
Telling you on the internet. Well, they're telling you to stop being yourself. Sit still. Stop joking. Suppress your aggression. Share your feelings. Obey.
Exactly. Become feminine. Make society feminine because masculinity challenges their worldview. It is disgusting, it's despicable, and it's ruining millions of lives.
Male qualities are virtuous. Masculine qualities are oppressive. That's
right.
The message. In case it wasn't clear enough, schools around the country have removed urinals from boys' bathrooms.
Tucker's so base.
The male body itself is shameful. Things like this are often called feminism or woke politics. But in fact, they amount to mass conversion therapy, an attempt to change the fundamental nature of people.
Right.
Nothing like this has ever been attempted at scale. It's one of the most grotesque and destructive experiments in human history. What would it be like to find yourself the subject of that experiment as a boy trying to become a man during the Biden years?
It's so, dude, not that, I guess people that are younger probably have it more difficult than I do, but I can tell you that it is difficult. Previous generations were encouraged to be men. Like the society was understood that men built civilization, and so ambition isn't an expression of a drive that is fundamentally corrupt. As a matter of fact, it's not corrupt at all. Obviously, it's completely not corrupt. It is a will to transcend and make better and become. But that's so basically. I can tell you right now that with that being removed and there just being nonstop attacks on ambition, it can be very hard.
Well, you might kill yourself. Many have. You might decide to reject your own manhood and embrace androgyny, or even switch sexes. Girls are better? Fine, I'll become one.
Exactly, right.
Or more likely, you might
and older people have been brainwashed too. A lot of people don't have good fathers.
Simply withdraw into porn and weed and video games and give up on your life before it's begun. You might retire at 19. A less dramatic form.
Some people are truly alone. Some people are really, really alone, and you just have no idea. You got no idea. But we can come together here. We can come together here and understand the truth. We can understand that ambition is not bad, that it's good, that you should strive to become better, and that you're not a white supremacist for working out at the gym and becoming impressive and becoming masculine. You guys should subscribe to this channel so that we can be this together. I've already seen a lot of you guys subscribe, and I see your profile pictures, and dude, it's cool. I think it's really cool that we can create a group like this.
Form of suicide. All around us, this is happening. Noticing it is forbidden, but that does not make it any less real. So it's probably not surprising that Andrew Tate was the most Googled man in the world last year. He offers a different vision. Tate is a former professional kickboxer who about a decade ago began posting advice to young men on social media. Tate's view is that men want respect.
You know who Tate is.
A criminal up until the day he was officially classified as one. Just after Christmas last year, Tate and his brother Tristan were arrested and thrown into prison in Romania, where they live.
God, it enrages the left so hard that no one is believing their propaganda. It infuriates them. They're like, we printed in the news on the headlines that he's a bad criminal. Why isn't everyone listening to us? Because we see them as liars and frauds, and we see Andrew Tate as real deal. And that can be even more enraging than their initial triggeredom, which was their wife not fucking them because they're ugly and old and fat. So us seeing them as frauds is actually probably enraging them to slander Andrew Tate even more than them being losers in comparison to Tate's embodied impressiveness. This is something that you should realize. And I can tell you this because I've spent time around these radical leftists. I know how they think. I know what enrages their ideology. I was once even gripped by their ideology, believe it or not. So I can tell you, these people get furious when you see them as not who they portray themselves as. That's why they're going after Andrew Tate so hard, because they're deranged. They're just, they're deranged at you seeing the headlines that they print and not believing the headlines. It makes them crazed with anger. They see that we're we're lying, holy fuck, they don't think we're the good people anymore, our only commodity could vanish, our only currency of counterfeit moral virtue. It's like they have a machine that prints counterfeit money, but instead of money, it's virtue. Oh my god, they're gonna realize we're not the good guys anymore, and then they have nothing because their ideology is incoherent, so they truly would have nothing. If you realize that they're bad people, which is what everyone's doing and what Andrew Tate is exposing. So when Andrew Tate is still more popular than ever, when people are still commenting 95% positivity in the comments, they get so angry they have to turn off the fucking comments.
But it's worth noting that as of today, not a single woman has come forward to say that she was kidnapped or imprisoned or moved across international...
Facts don't matter to these people. Dude, you think they care about facts and reality? Are you kidding me? Dude, Andrew Tate's Bugatti puts them into a rage. They look at it and they realize that, oh my god, Andrew Tate drives a $5 million car and I can't even get my dick hard. Like, dude, they just fall apart. These people can't function when they see the embodied, undeniable, objective impressiveness of Andrew Tate, and the fact that you'd rather be like him than them drives them crazy.
It's also true that in some ways, the charges against the Tates seem inevitable, like they were always going to happen.
It's so eerie, but it's true. It's so true. He was exposing so many people. He was, changing the minds of the youth, just like Socrates, that it was almost inevitable that governments would come after him. I had a feeling that this would happen.
Accusing a man of a sex crime is the fastest possible way to discredit what he's saying. Jeffrey Epstein's dinner partners insist that Andrew Tate is a pervert and a criminal. Maybe they're telling the truth. Either way, we think Tate's views about men very much deserve a hearing. So we flew to Romania to talk to him. We're posting the entire interview here on Twitter because we've been assured it will not be taken down for ideological reasons.
Based Elon. Dude, if you're watching, comment Based Elon down in the comment section, which will be enabled.
So much of his content has been. So what are you charged with?
That's a really good question. I'm charged with being the head of an organized criminal group, which is in charge of recruiting girls to make TikTok videos to steal the money from the TikTok videos.
This is their newest claim. Before, the claim was he's coerced women into loving him by being a nice guy and giving them things that they like, treating them in ways that make them happy, and then these women do something or other for him. And it was really sort of, undefined, and no one took it seriously. So what do they do? Oh, it doesn't matter the accusations or the details, because remember, reality and facts don't matter to these people. They're part of the leftist group. So what do they do instead? Oh, let's just change the narrative. He did. Oh, no, it wasn't that. It was this entire time. No, just look over here. Look at this. And this is what this propaganda attack on Twitter, the PSY-OP attack, is happening through the right-wing agents right now, because they're saying, no, look in the history. It said this other accusation where here in the video he says the accusation is getting women for TikTok. The accusation is getting women for TikTok because it's all incoherent. This is what they changed it to be now. Before, it was also incoherent, but no one took it seriously, so they had to change it because the left doesn't care about reality. But so now what they're saying, and now what the people on the right are saying, these conservatives that are surely going to listen to our right-wing channels that have one wife and 1.4 children, surely will believe us now when we say that Andrew Tate is a human trafficker. Yes, well, as you can see, we go to church, so...
Stealing the money. So it's really a financial crime?
It looks that way, and it's very interesting
it's
because
all incoherent.
The girls who they...
It all makes no sense at all. They don't care about coherence or reality. They just care about slandering your name in the press, bro. This is the inevitable outcome. They do this to everyone. They do this to you if you work out at the gym. Oh, you work out at the gym, a white supremacist. Oh, you exercise standards on women when you date them. Insecure misogynist, these people's brains are so broken, they don't care about facts anymore. And I'm not just trying to be funny, because it's funny, obviously, when you think about these people not caring about facts, but it's actually true. They care about the adherence to their ideology more than reality itself, because reality bestows true virtues, true status, and justified moral standing. But to them, they get their counterfeit moral virtue, which they pretend is obviously not counterfeit, from the leftist ideology called Marxism. That's what it is. So understand that's what's going on here.
We've identified to add to the file are saying that we're not victims of anything and this isn't true. But the state believes it's true, and the state thinks
I literally believe I have argued with employees of the CIA today on Twitter. I'm just gonna fucking say it, dude, because I believe it's true. I actually believe this is true. I've never seen these accounts ever, and for some reason they have like 10,000, 20,000 followers or whatever, and they're getting boosted in the algorithm, and they're saying things that make no sense. I actually believe I've argued with like operative accounts like that are controlled in some sort of farm behind a screen by a certain person. I actually think this is what's happening, and I don't have proof of this, but it is my opinion, and I do think that's what this is, because we've seen in the past on Twitter how the accounts that say like the most insane stuff tend to be not real people. We saw this with the woman that tweeted that black people couldn't succeed in a meritocracy. It turned out that leftist account was controlled by a random guy who's not a leftist and actually just wanted to sell the account and market like some social media like services. So there's some really fishy stuff going on Twitter. I've never seen any of these accounts before, and it's strange. It's really strange.
I, as a 35-year-old man,
and I would never harm myself. Never, ever, in a million years. Leave that in the video, bro.
woke up. I was already extremely financially successful. I was already a father. I was already very well known. I had no financial motivation. I have no criminal record. It's not my personality profile, but I woke up at the age of 35 and decided to make girls do TikTok to enrich myself with the pennies that I would earn from.
For any older person watching this, you make basically no money from TikTok. That's why it's laughable. That's why it's funny, because you don't make any money from TikTok. You make like $5 if you get a billion views. The only way you make money on TikTok, and I'm explaining this just for the older folks if they're watching, is sponsorships, meaning brands will pay you to advertise, but you don't actually get money directly from TikTok. So this accusation is so incoherent, it makes no sense at all, but these people don't care about reality. So understand that's what's going on here, okay?
From TikTok views.
So in the United States, I think the belief is that you were charged with human trafficking.
Yeah, that's human trafficking, because what you do is you force a girl to work against her will for financial gain. That's human trafficking. And their justification for this,
right, this is their new accusation,
is that girls do TikTok. Some girls I know who they found who say they're not victims have TikTok accounts.
How do you force someone to do TikTok videos?
I guess the prosecutor is going to have to explain that, isn't he? It's a very interesting scenario I'm in, and I'm inside of Romania, so I have to show a degree of respect to the Romanian.
All these people accusing him that hate their lives will never watch the prosecution. They'll never watch the live case because they don't care about facts. They just care about demonizing him because he embodies all the ways they're deficient.
Judicial system, degree of respect to the situation I'm in, but the overall charge is that there's an organized criminal group. There's a group of us. I'm the head of it. My brother is below me, and we use the lover boy method to convince women to do TikTok videos to make money.
And if you guys don't know, the lover boy method, as defined by their legal system, is essentially being nice to women so they like you.
So that we can steal the TikTok money.
So there's no, just to be clear, you are not accused of pandering, of pimping, of forcing women to have sex with anybody.
No, not forcing them to have sex, not restraining their movement, not stopping them from living a full life, but the fact that we are somehow convincing them to have TikTok. Very interesting. I don't think...
But there's no actual... I'm asking you this because I do think it's a widespread belief that you were accused of pimping.
Yeah, no, that's nothing to do with any of this case. Absolutely nothing. And it's kind of scary because the crime in itself of human trafficking is a unique one, because they can ignore the statement of the victim. So the girls have come forward and said, this is insane. You've just picked us because we're near Andrew and we're his friends. But the whole idea of the crime is they can say that she's brainwashed, right? She's under duress.
That's
so you can ignore her.
Malicious. Oh my gosh. Dude, that couldn't be more left wing. Telling a woman she's a victim, despite her saying, no, I'm not, because she doesn't know better, and she doesn't know better for herself than not to say she's a victim. Oh, silly girl, what is she thinking? Of course she's a victim. Look at him. He's objectively impressive and with muscles and a fast car. He must be a misogynist, obviously. Remember the BBC reporter? Dude, misogynists drive Bugattis and smoke cigars. Bro, I'm gonna fucking buy some cigars. Dude, I got this in the mail. I think the CIA was listening. They fucking sent me this advertisement, bro. I'm gonna fucking buy these cigars just so that I can be an evil misogynist. Now all I need is a Bugatti. Oh my gosh, these feminists aren't ready, dude.
Her statement. State says she's a victim, regardless of the fact that she says she's not a victim. So it's very interesting because the difference between sex and rape is consent, right?
Right.
But they remove all of that. They're like, nope, you're a victim, no matter what you say.
Exactly. That is a marker of left-wing ideology. I want people to understand. It's written into Marxism. It's written by Karl Marx. In order to have status, in order to get counterfeit virtue, you must be a part of the leftist ideology. This is the way it works, dude. If you're a victim, you've been victimized by a victimizer. And so now you have status. Now you're a good person. It's a competition for victimhood. Oh, look, a black woman who's gay. That's gay and also black. Therefore, you double down on the victimhood status because she must be oppressed. Oppression is how they get their counterfeit status. It's so insipid, but it's an attack, I think, on personal responsibility and personal thriving because these people want to make excuses for why they're failures, and the only way to make excuse for why they're failures simultaneously and also why other people are succeeding while you're failing is because you are held back by a mysterious, invisible force that you can define as the oppressive patriarchy. Demonize all men, demonize masculinity as white supremacist, as fundamentally corrupt, which of course it isn't. It's built on competence. The hierarchies are not built on corruption or power, as they like to claim. They are built on competence. So they make excuses for their inadequacies now and in the future. So understand that's sort of what's going on here.
Deciding you're a victim, and they've chosen them. And of course, these girls do nothing pornographic. They've never had sex with anyone, nothing to do with that. So they've picked TikTok. So it's scary. Imagine you're a full-grown man anywhere in the world today. Right. They can find two girls who have TikTok on their phone.
Do your cousins have TikTok on their phone? Did you see them this summer? You sex trafficked your cousins. Let's fucking go. You evil, evil bastard. Holy shit. Dude, we're gonna raid your house, throw you in jail for 9 months. This is unacceptable. Your cousins have TikTok on their phone. Bro, they can do this to any man. That's the reason why they're making this so outrageous.
Which is every single female on the planet. And they can accuse you of forcing them to take the TikTok money, and even if
you went to the beach with your cousins while they had TikTok on their phone, oh my god! And you mean that the reason they went with you was because you were nice to them? Lover boy method. Like, dude, these people, their brains are broken.
Girls say they didn't do that. This isn't true. That you're still a human trafficker.
But force, what does that consist of?
Bad.
Something? Are they accusing you of using violence or?
No, they're accusing me, and this thing, they're accusing me of using the lover boy method, coercing them by being nice.
And by the way, these charges presumably are public, so
they're public, and this.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's too surreal. I'm living in a simulation. Oh no.
This is extremely serious, but if you actually analyze the overall case against me, they're saying that Andrew and his brother, by being nice men, convinced girls to have TikTok accounts and then take the money. And it's very interesting because inside of the entire case file, there's not a single financial transaction to us for money.
What are the penalties?
They're extremely severe, 5 to 10 years in jail. And I've already served, coming up now, 7 months in a form of jail. They can only hold
So you are essentially incarcerated right now.
Absolutely, I'm on house arrest. And that counts as jail. You can only be held 6 months without charge. I was initially picked up, thrown in a cell without charge. And I think the intention of the entire investigation at that point was to find the crime because they had very, very weak evidence.
These people are
They contacted 2,000 people who know me or knew me. They tried very hard to convince some female somewhere to come forward and say something bad about me. The media machine, which works hands in hands with the justice machine, as you know very well, did exactly that. In fact, they offered bribes effectively. They'd call up ex-girlfriends and say, if you have anything bad to say about Andrew, we can pay you $50,000 for the story. And they tried very hard. They didn't find any evidence of anything.
Imagine someone contacting all of your exes and saying, if you say a bad word about him, we'll give you $50,000. Do you really think that a single man is safe?
They then released me on house arrest, and then 2 days...
My parents are divorced. I can get my mom to say something bad about my dad for free.
Before the legal limit in which they had to drop everything, they charged me with whatever they had from the beginning, which is very little. And now we have to wait for the Romanian judicial system to analyze the file and, God willing, throw it away.
How long did you spend in jail?
I was in jail for 92 days in a Romanian jail cell.
What was that like?
It was certainly an interesting experience. I won't lie and say it was easy. It was certainly very difficult. The uncertainty of it. It's a very uncertain situation to be picked up on just before New Year's Eve and thrown in a cell without charge. And I'm asking different prison guards and different prisoners, how long am I going to be here? One person was like, I've been here 2 years. I'm like, have you been charged? She goes, yeah, but I haven't gone to court yet. Like everyone's been there for years. I thought I was going to be there for years. And it certainly takes a mental toll on you. And I think jail is a different experience when you know you're innocent. There was a guy in there for murder. He's like, yeah, I murdered someone, I'm in jail. You can your soul and your mind can accept the punishment for a crime. But when you've actually done nothing wrong, I think jail is a lot harder.
Did you know why you were there?
Imagine being punished, let's say as a kid, for doing something right when you actually, or you did something right, but you're being punished for doing something wrong. It's way worse because you didn't actually do it.
Not initially. So for about the first 2 weeks, I never actually got told in English what I was accused of because I was arrested on...
Because it doesn't matter to them. Why would they tell Andrew? All that matters is he's a bad person and should go away. Bad person with Bugatti is impressive, shows us up, should go away. It doesn't matter why. They don't care.
On December 29th, there's New Year's...
What were the circumstances of that?
They just care about promoting their agents where... their agents are fat, wearing dresses, freak shows, long hair, selling scams, dude, not improving the lives of men, and all they do, it's like we're living in a world with simple forces at play. It's literally good versus evil. You can see the deranged, broken, destroyed humans that hate competence, demonizing the men with muscles that have their lives together, that are telling men how to become better on the internet. Because I'm not a nihilistic person, because I want a good future for myself, I listen to the people that tell me how to better my life. Fresh and Fit, Myron Gaines, all these other people on the internet, they are aiming up, but there's this other cohort on the internet that caters to people that hate their lives so much that they want to demonize anyone who shows them up. They get enraged by being shown up, like I mentioned before.
Yeah, December 29th, 5 a.m., the armed guards ran in this house.
Wow.
They spent all day searching the entire house. They were very interested in electronics. As
crazy. And it's also crazy how the forces of darkness also revel in lies and celebrate lying about people. It's all so archetypal.
These are. And then they took me that evening and said, we're going to go and put you in jail for 24 hours. And after 24 hours, you see a judge, and the judge will decide if you stay in jail. And the judge decided I should stay in jail.
What did you do? I mean, who'd you call?
I had a lawyer, and my lawyer came and he said, we need to analyze the case file. We need to see what they have against you. You're being accused of human trafficking. I was like, human trafficking? That's insane. Who? When? What? I went to jail, and then I was given all this paper in Romanian. I don't speak Romanian, although I live here. And then I was waiting for the translation. So I think it's about 2 weeks before I finally got the papers in English to understand why I was in a jail cell. And then I really understood how insane the accusations were.
What is human trafficking?
Yeah, so the overall, my understanding of it, they're saying that human trafficking is when you convince a woman to do something she doesn't want to do for financial gain. And there's different methods you can do that. You can do that through force, and you can also do that through emotional coercion.
I think most people, just speaking from the American perspective, most people believe that human trafficking is effectively slavery, selling human.
Right. When I think of human trafficking, I think of like throwing people in vans and shit, and you're like, driving them to Epstein's Island, which, by the way, all the leftists use, but we don't care about facts here, do we? Because facts are, constructions of the far right and white supremacists. We are truly good people. We're leftists, obviously. So what is the point of Epstein Island client list? Let's just forget about that. Moving on. But you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think when all they care about is just the headlines. They just care about demonizing him. They don't care about the specifics, because no one that attacks Andrew has gone into any of the specifics. They've just demonized him, and their lives have fallen apart because no one takes them seriously. But they were already living in a chaotic soup that is hellish, so they were used to that.
Human being.
That's what I believe as well.
It is really light versus dark. You can tell.
Absolutely. And this is the thing that's so interesting. When you finally end up the enemy of the Matrix and they use the legal system as a weapon to punish you for having an opinion, you realize how subjective the law is, right? Because it can be a weapon. When you have something subjective, you can just pick and choose.
Right.
So if they sit and say, human trafficking.
No man is safe.
Is a woman doing something for financial gain against her will via emotional coercion. Well, he knows these two girls, they have TikTok accounts.
Emotional coercion?
Convincing her. That's what I'm accused of, because they have no proof of me doing anything wrong. So they said, he's convinced these girls to do TikTok for money. The girls have said this is not true, and the state is denying their statement, saying, no, you're brainwashed. It is true.
The state denies their statement. This isn't true. What do you mean? No, we're not victims of this. Quiet, you can't talk. Your opinion doesn't matter. Like, these people are crazy.
And I went to jail.
So how is the state, so the state is trying to coerce the women. So how is the state not committing human trafficking by the same definition?
Well, absolutely. It's very interesting. It's very interesting that you can sit someone down and tell them they're a victim when they say they're not a victim.
You're a victim of being coerced, and we're going to
There couldn't be anything more left-wing than that.
try to coerce you
You're a victim no matter what you say.
into conceding you were coerced.
Exactly. It's a very interesting scenario. And
Okay.
yeah, and it's a very interesting scenario. And it's up until this point, no judge has looked at the evidence of the case. So up until this point, I've been to court a bunch of times.
That's important.
But the only reason I was in court was to discuss my preventative detention. So under Romanian law, if you being free can impede the investigation, you should stay in jail. So the judge agreed that, yeah, maybe if he's free, he can damage this investigation because they're trying very hard to get something on this guy. So I've done a bunch of jail time. And now
They're
it's just...
afraid that he's going to be able to either leave the country or basically convince people that he's innocent. But the problem is that he was martyred so aggressively when he was in jail that the people that supported him and believed that it was all lies and fabricated, accusations just increased. So, I mean, people are going to side with Tate no matter what because he has the truth on his side. I don't think it matters if he's in jail or not, to be honest, in terms of his public. Maybe if he was imprisoned even more, if he was imprisoned even more unjustly, he'd be martyred even more, effectively. But so that might be why they let him out, as a matter of fact. But they still don't care about the facts of the case because otherwise they would have dropped the charges because there's no evidence, so there are no victims. And the victims that the state is saying that are victims are saying we're not victims. So it's really surreal.
Begins, the judge is going to look at the case. And like I said, God willing, I still have enough faith in the Romanian judicial system that she's going to look at this and go, this is not a crime.
You're aware of the media coverage of this, however. So you're in jail for 90 days or more.
Yeah, the media is utterly co-opted by the left, so it's nothing but slander. Nothing but slander.
And the rest of the world is talking about you. Do you know what they're saying?
They're saying very heinous things, and I would hate to come across as a conspiracy theorist, Tucker, but I kind of have a feeling that this might be something to do with my influence and an attempt to slander my name. Perhaps I'm crazy, but the fact that they chose such a heinous crime and they reported it so heavily, and they won't shut up and keep repeating, basically, a slander attack.
We have a Julian Assange situation, but, on steroids, like 100x.
Day after day after day. Also considering the fact that other people who genuinely commit heinous crimes have far more favorable press coverage. I don't want you to think I'm a conspiracy theorist.
I mentioned that. Let's go.
Please, Tucker, I would hate for you to come here and call me crazy. Yeah. But something very strange about it, and I think
when Jeffrey Epstein's friends call you immoral?
Yeah. The goal of it is certainly to slander my name, and I like to see it as a litmus test. I like to see it as an intelligence test. Anybody who wakes up and looks at me and goes, he's a human trafficker because of TikTok, they're fully gone.
So, but from the web,
dude, it's literally an IQ test. Yeah, that's funny.
Kind of an outlaw.
Yep.
Lives in some palace in Romania, wherever that is.
Yep.
And Romania sounds like the kind of place where human trafficking is like the main industry.
A lot of it happens here. That's what's so crazy about it, right? What's so crazy is if they really wanted to find a human trafficker, I think they could probably do it quite easily. But they managed to get me.
That's certainly the perception. But it's one of those charges that kind of sells itself.
Tucker is such an American. He's such a good guy.
Absolutely, and it doesn't matter if you're found guilty or not, right? You're a human trafficker forever. And but I do think that public consciousness is changing. I think with things like
people can tell that the forces of darkness are so absurdly brazen, so absurdly brazen in their, overt evil that it's waking up a lot of people because it's like they're celebrating their evilness. It's like they're celebrating the way that they're lying about the world. They're lying about Andrew Tate and the way they want to destroy the spirit of man. It's like they're reveling in it, so it's obvious.
There's been some very large court cases recently involving some very famous people in which women were caught lying, trying to slander men's names for rape and these kinds of things. And I
And
don't
I'm going to cover some of that tomorrow. There is a famous Dodgers pitcher, which right now, as we speak, is under attack. I don't watch baseball, but this guy's girlfriend literally pretends as though he's sexually assaulting her, and then makes a video while laying in his bed, smiling and laughing, and mocking the fact that he's like basically gonna have to deal with this problem. It's so despicable. These people aren't hiding their evil. What's important is to foist upon them the frameworks that are objective, because objective frameworks judge everyone equally.
think people believe it anymore. But that scares me to a degree, because I think that the typical weapon, the standardized playbook, is now failing, and I don't know what the new playbook's going to be. It's almost like better the devil you know. That you're too famous, you're too successful, we don't like you. Call him a rapist or a human trafficker, put him all over the news, slander his name, try and wreck his life.
And they're enraged that no one is listening. The news is failing. The propaganda isn't working.
Now that nobody believes it, what's the next move?
And the comments are all positive, and so they have to turn off the comments. Oh my gosh, we're being revealed as frauds. Quick, turn off the comments. No one's agreeing with us. No one's agreeing with us. Quick, turn them off, turn them off. And now the comments are off. But guess what? We can turn it back on. We can turn it back on because we owe it, because their accounts belong to us, bro.
Move. What are they going to try next?
Wouldn't it just have been easier to commit like a massive financial crime and defraud people of billions, come up with like a fake cryptocurrency, call it like, I don't know, FTX, or just give a name to it.
Yeah, something
And then,
random.
Steal billions
Yeah.
and get your parents involved and buy
Yeah, like a coin or something called FTX, maybe? Would that be worse or better?
a bunch of real estate in the Bahamas, and then like you'd be sort of a hero, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I would have certainly made a lot more money than TikTok, because I don't think TikTok even pays you for views. And if it certainly does, I never got a single transaction from it. So it's a very interesting scenario. But if I was accused of a financial crime, my name would not be slandered. So
No, of course. Well, of course not. You have the presumption of innocence. So just back to the jail thing. So you're in with your brother.
At the beginning, I was not, but towards the end, I was, yeah.
What did you do all day?
It's a good question.
Push-ups.
I looked at the wall, stared at the wall, smoked cigarettes, lots of push-ups, read the Quran.
You smoked cigarettes, did push-ups, and read the Quran.
Basically, yes. And certainly had some introspective moments.
Top striker. Let's go. Let's go, bro. Dude, they don't know this life. They don't know this life.
Tried my best to get out, tried my best to via my small phone calls, understand what's happening in the outside world. Tried to make sure that the people I love and care about are taken care of, because I'm the man of my family, and I'm also the man of quite a large, I wouldn't say empire, but life. And there's a whole lot of people who rely on me. You have staff and families, you have children and families.
Feeling, yeah.
So when you're plucked from that, it's kind of strange. You're in jail and you're concerned for yourself, but your primary concerns are also all your duties as a man. I have duties as a man. I don't want children to starve.
We've got a whole tribe.
I've got people to pay. So it was very, very frustrating, constantly trying to make sure everybody else was okay and feeling helpless. That's what hurt me the most. I was trying to make sure everybody I love and care about was fine.
We are the good guys. God bless. God bless. God bless for us being on the right side.
And I wasn't as powerful as I should have been. And that was very upsetting. And especially if they were going to keep me there for years, I was having serious concerns about how I can feed the people I love.
Did you ever come to the edge at all?
No. I certainly had some days I was less happy than others, but I made sure that my mindset was built in a way that I could always be doing something constructive. And also, I think you get what you give in life. And if I ever felt particularly sad on a day, I would try very hard to make other people happy, because if I made other people smile, I'd feel better.
That's a very, very deep spiritual reality, that what he just said. I hope you guys pay attention to that.
So even the dinner ladies or the prison guards, I'd try very hard just to make people smile. I know it sounds silly. Some of the prison guards,
it doesn't.
Some of the prison guards were more open than others, but there was a couple prison guards who were ice cold, who didn't want to say a word to me, and went, "Hey, bro, your hair looks amazing," and he just stare at me like he wants. Shut up. But I just try my best to cheer people up, to cheer myself up, and as a man, all you can do is just find the resolve to continue doing the best you can in the current circumstance. So,
What were the other prisoners like?
I don't want to insult Romania in any way, and I love
Wow. Dude, we are the good guys. Wow.
this country, and I chose to live here.
Wow.
But if I had to describe it for the people, for an American audience to understand, I don't think
We're
Romania...
literally just fighting against evil, bro. We are literally we are fighting against the forces of darkness, the forces of ultimate corruption, of hatred for humanity. We are the good guys in this story. Appreciate that. Appreciate that right now. You're fighting. If you support Andrew Tate and you're speaking the truth on the internet, in person, to people you know, to your family, you're fighting against the forces of darkness. You're on the army of the light. That's what it is, and that's a remarkable thing to be a part of.
And a lot of
Andrew Tate is such a good person.
these countries have the same kind of mental health setup or the mental health support that a lot of Western nations have. So you end up in jail. Ooh. So I think there was a lot of mental health problems inside the jail. So it was very similar. It wasn't just a jail. There was also a lot of mental health problems in there, which adds a new complexity and a new dimension to the suffering, because there's just random screaming and there's suicide and it's certainly not a very nice place to be.
Oh, so it's horrifying.
Yeah, I don't want to go back.
You hear the phrase Romanian prison, and it sounds tough. So it was what you would imagine.
It is, and when this process is over, there's a lot more I will say. But I will say the staff were very nice to me, and I want to make this clear. I want to make it very clear that all the staff in the jail were very professional and very nice to me. I would almost say that they believed I was innocent, and they understood that I didn't belong there. There was a semi-apologetic vibe to the way I was treated by the guards, if that makes sense.
Yes.
They understood very well. I don't think anybody, like I said, with a functioning brain believes that me at the age of 35 decided to steal TikTok money and ruin my entire life without financial motivation. Right. To girls who say they're not victims of anything.
Yeah, exactly. But the forces of darkness, the degeneracy, the lying people with dresses, that wear dresses and long hair, or that are fat and are compulsively living destroyed lives. Their brains are turned to soup. You can see that they are enraptured by resentment. They're feverishly gripped by hatred. These people are, the people that their fans are also, gripped. Essentially, what it is they are gripped by a hatred for humanity. They hate humanity. They are animated by resentment. They hate their own lives. They're mentally destroyed. These people live by lies. They live by deceit, and they live by resentment. And it's important you understand this, because we are battling evil itself.
I don't think anybody with a brain.
Well, the fact that you're not accused of a sex crime or violence, which I think most people don't really understand.
Yep.
And they can look it up. Yep. I mean, but you're not actually accused of rape, selling anyone, pimping.
Correct.
Okay. That right there raises a lot.
Now, who knows what the outlandish accusation will be in the future when they realize, oh, wait a second, no one's believing this lie either. Quickly, cart in the next piece of propaganda. What's the new headline? Oh, Andrew Tate, I don't even know what it could be. Jesus.
Questions.
Well, yeah, and this is the thing that's so interesting, because I'm accused of using a method of human trafficking called the Loverboy method. So how that would traditionally work is a man would meet a girl, become her boyfriend, take her to another country, turn her into a prostitute, say I love you, like pimping.
Of course.
But they're saying, because all my conversations with these girls are very nice, they're saying that I use the Loverboy method to convince them to do TikTok. And once again, I never made a penny from TikTok, and I have no interest in girls' TikTok's accounts, and I've never made any money from TikTok in my life.
So that raises the question. So that right there, I think, we can let people assess. I'm not, an expert on the Romanian legal code, but that's kind of not the impression that most people have. Okay?
And that's the media, who have made that the media have tried very hard.
The forces of good understand this, and at this point, the evil is exposed and crawling. It's basically reeking of desperation and hatred, because everyone sees them as the frauds that they are, and they're getting destroyed. This is destroying them, completely destroying them.
Hard to do that, and if I had to estimate,
this video has gotten tens of millions of views when you combine YouTube and Twitter.
I think that the overall intention was just to throw me in a cell, use the media machine to drum up something real. I think that's what the goal was.
So, but what's the...
And they failed. And they failed to the point where they're trying to disable YouTube comments to stifle the conversation, because so many people are coming out in support of him that they're failing and they're seen as frauds. That's really what it is. Again, I'm going to keep saying it because it's true. I'll harp on this. They get outraged by being seen as frauds.
Believe that. It seems, obviously.
Yeah.
One thing, I've never been to Romania before, and one thing I'm struck by is the American presence here.
Oh, it's massive.
Fully understand that. So there are 3 NATO bases here now. They're bustling because of the war in Ukraine. One's on the Black Sea, right below Crimea. So this is strategically important, this country, to NATO.
Absolutely.
And so this is a lot less far away than I realized. It's much more American influence.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think that played a role?
Yeah, well, biggest U.S. embassy in the world. The U.S. embassy here looks like a prison. It's huge. They've got a huge embassy here. And even during Ceausescu, during the communism days, Romania was an ally of the West, even during communism.
Yes.
So, yes.
Ceausescu came to New York.
Yes, that's right, yeah. So Romania and America have been very good friends for a very long time.
The forces that have attacked Andrew Tate are definitely American. They are definitely of the West. I don't know if that's Britain or America. I've said before, the people that get triggered, the people that not get triggered, the people that are fat and old with unattractive wives and their dick doesn't work. These people, they are all old and probably in California or New York. So they get enraged by Andrew Tate, just his existence. They look at him and they get thoroughly furious. They get furious. They probably get so angry they can't stop thinking about him because he shows them up. And his physical impressiveness, which is undeniable, does it shows that it reminds them that they've made the wrong choices, objectively speaking, because left despises nothing more than being judged objectively by reality, because it reminds them that everything is not socially constructed, that they actually are beholden to an objective framework, and that their ideology is incoherent as a result of not being as a result of everything not being socially constructed. So they get enraged by that. And they also get enraged by people wishing to be like Andrew Tate because of the objective markers of his impressiveness, which again, judge them, instead of wanting to be like them. Because young men don't want to be fat, ineffectual, old, not respected, ugly, incoherent and discombobulated, mentally destroyed. They don't want to be feminist. All these markers that just basically are the inverse of coherence and joy and symmetry and impressiveness. All that every single philosopher has identified since the beginning, since Athens. Like basically the opposite of what it means to be a good man is who these people are. And so when they see young men say, "I'd like to drive a fast car like Andrew Tate. I'd like to be in shape. I'd like to be adored by super hot women like Andrew Tate is," they get enraged because they're reminded that they're the opposite of what they should be. And so it makes them think about that a lot. And they get very furious. And that's why they can't help but attack him and continually reveal to us their insipid, disgusting, vile, reprehensible rage for humanity, their hatred for you and for masculinity. That's why it keeps getting revealed over and over again. That's why they can't stop. They can't stop lying because they are evil. That's what evil does.
For what I say, but it's certainly very interesting what's happened to me. The American embassy were not particularly helpful, let's put it that way. They weren't very interested in me being locked up without charge. They didn't seem very interested in getting me out.
So what is it about your message, do you think, that infuriates certain people?
Well, my message is traditional masculinity. My message is to stand up and say what you mean and mean what you say. And even going to the gym nowadays is an act of defiance, because when you have a man who's built with any degree of principle, you say no to things. And I think if I have to analyze my message and why I'm so disliked by the people who dislike me, it's not the things I'm saying, it's the fact that if you
teaching men to be strong,
adhere to my principles and you adhere to the things I say, you end up being the kind of person who will resist certain ideas. You say no. What kind of man never says no? Name a man who never says no. Men say no, right? Men wake up and say, no, I don't think that should be done this way. No, my children will not be taught that.
It's
no.
The father's primary job.
Absolutely. So when you say to men,
that is a resonant message.
Listen, you're allowed to have an opinion.
A lot of people are going to hear that and agree.
You're allowed to have standards. You're allowed to have boundaries and barriers. You're allowed to get up and become important and work hard and try hard and become the kind of man who can't be controlled. They look at me and go, he's helping men resist the slave programming. We don't need him around. We need to empty their brains so we can inject the slave programming and convince men to be eunuchs, because once you're eunuched, then you're not a threat.
Wow. I think I buy that, because your message, I'm not the world's expert on your message, but I've seen a lot of it, and it's not explicitly political, actually.
No, it's not political at all. And their original attack before this Matrix attack is they weaponized virtue, which is what they usually do. There's no genuine virtue inside of these people. They weaponize virtue. They find a virtue.
Exactly.
And they turn it into a bullet and they shoot at you. I'm sure you know very well.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah. I was a misogynist for the longest time just for saying that men should have standards.
Right.
If you tell a man he can have standards in a relationship in any way, you're a misogynist. It's actually very interesting because
What does that mean to have standards in a relationship?
But this is the thing that's so
Not
interesting.
accept bullshit, not accept fuckery, having standards. Women's standards are celebrated, men's standards are demonized, masculinity is demonized. Shut up and cut off your dick. You don't have an opinion
About it, because they've
Your ambition's nothing more but an evil drive for power through the patriarchy. Disgusting, disgusting human.
gendered the argument when I never did. I said as a man, you shouldn't have
We are living in a revolution.
a girlfriend who is a liar and a cheater, and you also shouldn't have male friends who are liars and cheaters. You shouldn't be around dishonest people,
Right.
Yes.
male or female.
Amen.
Holding them accountable. Accountability is what feminists despise. They hate it. Because again, anything that connects back to objective reality enrages these people. If they get reminded they've chosen wrong, they are living counter to morality itself, to the objective frameworks that judge them, which, you know, eats them up. I can tell you that. Being judged by objective reality eats these people up. They can't function. They get reminded that their ideology is going to blow away in the wind. It's going to disintegrate. It's worth nothing. They're all liars and frauds, and they're the worst kinds of people. And they know all this, but when you see it, they get angry because you see them as for who they are.
You should have hard parameters, and if a woman doesn't want to adhere to those parameters, that's her decision, and it's her prerogative, but you don't have to stay with her. Why should you?
What's wrong with that?
Well, that's teaching men to say no.
Exactly. Not, like I said before, not accepting the fuckery of feminism, not accepting the degeneracy of the left-wing lies that are being pushed onto society right now. It is accountability. Feminists get enraged when they encounter accountability because it disintegrates their ideology.
So are you arguing that it's better to be with a virtuous woman?
I think so. Yes, I know that's
No,
crazy.
I'm serious. I mean, that seems
I
like
am,
a
Tucker.
good,
I don't want to.
that seems like good advice.
I don't want to come across as extreme.
This is the reason why the agents of the Matrix had to attack him now from the other side, because everyone just agrees with Andrew Tate. Everything he's saying is true. Everyone knows he's innocent. Everyone knows he's a force for good. They are so desperate. They are pathetic liars.
But yes, and it's because of the mass influence I have. At one point, I became the most Googled man on earth. At one point. And it's a scary situation I'm in.
But if you're arguing that it's really important for a man to find a good woman,
Yeah.
a decent woman,
Yeah.
an honest woman,
Yeah.
Oh, the left gets so angry when they hear that. Oh, you have no idea how angry they get.
that's the truest thing that's ever been said.
Absolutely.
That's the most important thing any man can do. I mean, I can just tell you firsthand.
Oh, thank you.
But the markers of what makes a woman virtuous and good infuriates them, because those things preclude certain actions and behaviors that are being pushed by feminism onto women. Live your best life. Yeah, go out and party with your girlfriends. Yeah, you can act like you're single at the club. Oh, he has standards. He doesn't like that. He's just insecure. Follow that career. You don't need to have kids. Oh, you don't have kids by 35? It's okay. He's not strong enough for you. He just can't handle you. Love your curves. Don't go, you can gain weight. You can be fat. You don't have to work out at the gym. Love your curves, girl. You're a boss queen. Yeah, he just can't handle you. Meanwhile, she's fat, alone, ugly, can't have kids, miserable. This is what the left does. They hate humanity. I mean this literally. I'm not just saying it. They actually hate humanity. They are against humans. I don't know how else to say it. They are against the flourishing and the existence of Homo sapiens.
Thank you very
Being
much.
married 32 years, that's the most important thing. And you think saying that angered people?
Absolutely, because I'm arguing the only way to do that is via masculine.
This right here is the reason why they called the agents that they control for the conservatives to attack him, because so many people are agreeing with him right now. What he's saying is not only true, it's resonant. It makes itself so undeniably obvious and true because it manifests congruence in the lives of every American whose life is put together. This is the reason why they had to demonize him from the right. This is the reason I'm reacting to this video right now, because of the PSY-OP that's taken place on Twitter in the last 10 hours. I'd never seen these accounts before. They're definitely controlled by the enemy. Andrew Tate's a bad person. Oh my God, he's not a real conservative. Dude, I feel like I'm arguing with CIA agents, bro.
And excellence. I'm saying in the world we live in today, it's hyper competitive. And if you want to be the kind of man that has the choice of women to choose a good one, you need to be an excellent man. It's no longer acceptable for you to just be an average Joe or below average. You have to get up and you have to work hard and you have to be smart and interesting and you have to be charismatic and make some money and be in good shape and you have to try very hard. And unfortunately, For them, if you follow that path as a man and you become successful in those realms, you end up being the kind of person who resists enslavement. You become the kind of person who wakes up and says, no, I don't believe in that. That doesn't make sense to
I
me.
can't imagine a better message than that.
If you want a good society. So
This
then
is
you have
what gets them. They're furious over
to
this.
argue and sit and say, do these people want a happy, functioning society or do they want something else?
Right?
What do you think?
I think that I would never kill myself. And I also
Just throwing that out there.
and I also think that when you want to conquer a society, you kill the military age males. That's what you do. That's the first thing they've ever done.
And what are
They
they
walk in
doing?
and all-
They're castrating our youth. They're telling them, no, urinals are bad. No, you should cut off your dick because masculinity is an evil force of the patriarchy is corrupt. Dude, this is what they're fucking telling you. This is what they're telling you. But it's fake. It's untrue. It's all bogus. It's all bogus. Dude, they want you to be feminine. They want to feminize society so you're docile and controllable and will take the slave program. Yes, I will inject myself. Yes, inflation is good. Biden's a good president. We shouldn't go outside for respiratory problems. Yes, this is very desirable. Oh, look, Dylan Mulvaney. It's a woman in a dress. Oh my god, she's so hot. Like, bro, they want us controlled, dude. They want us under their thumb.
and then you can't resist. And I think there's certainly a movement to ensure that there's very little resistance left inside of the number.
Bro, balls are so important for our civilization, bro. Literally, they are what built civilization.
One demographic which is required to resist oppression, which are military age males. And they don't want those kind of people waking up with any kind of self-respect or standards or to say, no, I don't accept this. I do not need a ninth injection. They don't want that. They want you to sit and say, I don't need it, but the news said so, oh well.
So in the one interview that you and I did, you had a line that I've been thinking about ever since. I thought it was so interesting. I never thought of it before. You said that a lot of people went along with the vax.
Yep.
And that you didn't judge them because facts change. But now that we know that a lot of what we were told was wrong and some of it was a lie, it is a requirement of your own dignity, of your own self-respect to say so.
Completely. And people should apologize.
Correct.
I really do believe. And I have nothing against the
Correct.
people who fell for the propaganda, fell for the programming, and
Yes,
took the vaccine.
yes, I agree.
Fine. But you should wake up and say, I was fooled. I've learned my lesson. I will not be fooled again. But if you were fooled by the MSM and took the injection and you continue to be fooled and you've not self-reflected and you've not realized that they lied to you the entire way and you now believe the new bunch of lies that are all over the television, then there's something wrong with you.
Or you don't care that you were lied to.
You don't care that you were lied to because I think a lot of this is actually genuinely cowardice. I think it's a very easy worldview. The life is easier if you accept the news tells the truth.
Yes.
Everything they want me to believe is true. Everything's nice and simple. Good guys, bad guys, doop-de-doop-de-doo. And if you want to actually wake up, it takes a degree of bravery because then you have to destroy your entire worldview, everything you've ever understood and everything you're told, and you have to really look at the world and go, oh,
It's all propaganda to control you. It's all propaganda.
this is a mess. And that takes bravery. And once again, that's why they don't want men to be brave. They want you to sit there and go, oh, it's easier if just, CNN said, so it must be true. And it's cowardice. And they're trying to instill cowardice in all of us. That's what they're trying very hard to do. And I think even just me as a person, the people who hate me, my detractors who dislike me so much, even if I say nothing, I just turn up, big, bald, strong, fast car. It's just me. I'm like
They
the
get angry.
enemy to them because I symbolize men who don't comply. And not don't comply in a negative law-breaking way, but don't comply if we don't agree with that or we don't see common sense in that, we're going to politely decline. And that's simply not allowed.
What's it like to have the prospect of
There you
prison
go.
hanging over you?
The left is hateful and exclusionary. They are evil and they are destroying humanity.
I think that I like to believe that this is a test from God. I like to believe that if you become the most Googled man in the world for saying that you have mental resilience, that God is going to make sure you don't have that degree of fame without testing you. I like to believe that God comes along and says, yes, I've allowed you to become the top G. We're going to see if you really are the top G. I believe that's how the world works. It's certainly intimidating, especially knowing you're completely innocent. But I believe it's a test, and I believe it's my job to pass the test for my ancestors and for people watching over me and for God.
That's a good place to end it. That's a good place to end it.